the two featured games this week in PwC Women's Premier. It's Vikings A against Bacchus A, and Vikings A strong favourites for this one. Just nobody seems to be able to stop them.
Yeah, like I said, every week I've said this, that the teams below Vikings A don't really seem to be able to kick on and try and catch them. They all seem to take points off each other. So, I mean, the closest team to them at the moment are Valkyries A, but Bacchus A are well capable of keeping up with them. They've had a loss and a draw so far, with 2 wins, but you could argue on the opening day they probably deserved to win. Against Valkyries A, they were severely weakened. They had the likes of Freya Duchar's missing. They had 2 or 3 other players missing. But this week sees them strengthened with Freya Duchar's coming back in. They've got Emma Corty that's playing really, really well for them this year as well. So I expect them to do well in attack. That being said, Vikings are even stronger this week than they have been in the previous weeks. They've got a full squad with Lou Slater, Kirsty Bowley and Sarah Blackman coming back into the side. 3 very, very strong players that would strengthen any side in the league. They're very, very difficult to break down. I think the only team that have actually won a short corner even against them this year was Harlequins last week. So it's going to be very, very difficult for Bacchus. They're going to have to attack as a team and try and win those upgrades, try and win those short corners, try and get those chances on goal. You're guaranteed Vikings are going to score goals in this game.
Well, you say that, yes. They've scored twice the amount of goals that Bacchus A have scored so far in the Women's Premier this season, but nobody has been able to breach that defence.
No,
that's an unstoppable combination. Surely something is going to have to go drastically wrong for Vikings if Bacchus are to get anything from the game.
Like I said, on the opening day of the season was a sort of a strange one. Valkyries A didn't have a chance on goal, really. They had a couple of openings, but they were more half chances. And then Bacchus drawing with Ramsey A as well. You know, it was a little bit of a strange weekend that weekend. And I think it doesn't really... Vikings A are by far and away the strongest team in the league. And they are the ones to beat, and they are going to be incredibly difficult to beat. I do think Bacchus A, Ladies A are going to have chances on goal tomorrow. Charlotte Casement's been playing in nets for them whilst Sammy's out injured and has been doing very, very well. And she hasn't been tested as much as she's going to be tested tomorrow, I don't think. Last year the results were all really close. And I believe in the cup game it was 3-0 to Vikings, then it was 3-3 again between Vikings and Bacchus A, with Vikings scoring a last-minute winner. So it is going to be a close game tomorrow, but I do expect Vikings to come out on top.
It's very rare that you'll have a game where Bacchus have players like Emma Leeming, Freya Duchar's, as you say, is back in the team, yet they will still start the match as underdogs against the Vikings side.
Yeah, Vikings, they're the most experienced team in the league. They've all played with each other for many, many years, but Bacchus are probably the up-and-coming team. They're the next, not necessarily generation, but they're the next group of players that have played with each other for a significant amount of time, and they're all around the same age. They're all quite young compared to the Vikings A side. I'm trying to be polite there, but Vikings A will carry on for a long time, but you just get the sense that Bacchus A are growing as a team, they're improving as a team, and you can see how hard they're working and training week in, week out as well.
But do you think that Vikings A will slip up tomorrow? Because this is a game that they'll want to win. The game, I think, when they look at the fixture list, this is the one fixture that stands out for them, the one against Bacchus A, their closest rivals really in recent seasons. Yeah,
I have no doubt in my mind that Vikings won't win tomorrow. They will come out with the win, but it's just how close Bacchus can run them. The Bacchus men's A team do this brilliantly. They grind out a win when they potentially don't deserve to, or they haven't been playing well for the past few weeks, like they did against Vikings A last week. They haven't been playing particularly well all year, but then they grind out a win like that against arguably the informed side of the league. Vikings Ladies A are the same. They grind out results where maybe they're not playing as well as they have done in previous weeks, and that's a real sign of a winner.
Well, that's the sign of champions, as you say. I'm going to ask you to stick your neck on the line and give a score prediction for tomorrow, because, as we've said, Bacchus A do have some quality players available to them, so it's not beyond the realms of possibility that they could get the result they're looking for.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility, but it's as near as makes no odds. I believe Vikings A are probably going to win 5-2.
And if results do go the way of Vikings in favour and they get the results elsewhere, they could be 4 points clear at the top tomorrow. So the incentive is there for both sides, for Bacchus to pull off the upset and for Vikings to get that breathing space, or even more breathing space at the top. In PWC Men's Division 1, a Southern derby, Castletown A against Saracens A, and you've got to expect the former to be favourites for this one.
Yeah, Castletown A have got the Premier League experience. They've got players in there that are vastly experienced. If you look at their front four, Danny Nivedon, Robin Masson, Stereopoulos and Don Stewart, they scored 19 goals between them this year. The first three have scored 5 each. So they are a huge threat going forward. They've scored 25 goals in 4 games, conceded 5. And when you've got the defensive mastery of Mark Bratt and Mark Corlett at the back as well, they are going to be incredibly difficult to beat. That being said, Saracens A are a very much an up-and-coming side. And in fact, the Castletown captain turned around and said that they've got so many junior players coming of age and performing really, really well that he's actually slightly worried about the game tomorrow. I expect Saracens to put up a real fight tomorrow. Like I said, they have a lot of young players. They will run themselves into the ground and they will be quicker than Castletown. And Castletown are weakened by the fact that they haven't got their midfield enforcer in Stevie Ronan. The Saracens players have picked out Andy Jockin for Castletown's for Saracens as their danger player. He's been an absolute wall for Saracens this year. They've only scored 2 past him in 3 games this year. And he's been described by Captain Dave Clark-Wilson as the best goalkeeper that Castletown will face all season. So, Castletown know there's a challenge tomorrow and they know they're going to be in a fight. I do expect Castletown to win this one with their experience in the Premier League, though.
But Saracens have proven they're more than capable of putting in stellar performances without reply against Harlequins A on the opening match of the season. They're undefeated themselves. They're not going to be going into this match short on confidence. No,
they're not. And Captain George Powell has said exactly the same thing. They're going in with the expectation that Castletown think they're going to win the game, and they're going to use that against them, I think. And George Powell's captained this team very, very well this season. They've surprised me. I didn't have them as a pick to be there at the top of the league or be fighting for the league at this stage of the season, given how young their side is. If you look at their squad, most of them are under the age of 18. In fact, most of them are 16 years old. George is only 19, 20 himself, so it's a very, very young side. They brought Stephen Jackson in just for a bit of experience up top this week. He's probably twice the age of most of the players in that squad. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very close game tomorrow. Both are putting their unbeaten records on the line.
Brilliant. Well, Sam Spooner, thanks very much for the preview. You'll be doing that with Ed Oldham tomorrow from 12:30. But the featured games, as we've just covered in PWC Women's Premier, it's Vikings A taking on Bacchus A. And then in PWC Men's Division 1 tomorrow, Castletown A versus Saracens A in a Southern derby. And the one place to keep up to date with all of the action is right here on Manx Radio. Sam, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.